How's it going, guys? It's Poetry7 and welcome to a quick EU4 guide on colonization. I don't know how quick it's actually going to be now I said that, because colonization is quite a complex part of EU4, but I decided I want to tackle it in a guide, because I've done guides in the past and they've all been well received for the most part, and I like doing them. They're fun. I like explaining some of the mechanics that I like personally. So I loaded in a save that I did as Navarra. I've been doing recently. Obviously, I don't want to show off or anything, but it's pretty nice, you know. Brittany is our vassal as well. We're doing pretty nice in this campaign, but the main reason I did this is because this way I can actually have a good example of what to show you for colonization. So we're obviously in Europe quite a bit, quite powerful. However, if you look at the rest of the world, we have quite a bit of land in the Americas. All the way in Brazil and stuff. We have a lot of land on the coast of Africa, which is good, and we even have Australia. We have a bunch of the Philippines, and I just recently conquered this land here in Malaya, and I'm planning on conquering more off camera, of course, when I play this on my own time. Either way, you know, how do you do all this? So let's start with the very basics. So when you start the game, let's say you start as like Spain or anyone really, anyone that you want to colonize with. First of all, you have to have a coastal province. As you know, that's probably fairly obvious. But yeah, so once you do, so if you have a coastal province, you can actually start exploring. However, you actually have to have ideas to do it. So if you don't know, ideas are these things that you have to that kind of spec your nation into different paths. And some of the important ones for colonization are, some of the important things for colonization that you have to colonize are here. Exploration and expansion ideas are the biggest ones. There are some other ones that can help though. So exploration ideas is the key one here. So when you start off the game, it's actually impossible to explore anything, because if you've played EU4, you know that there's the Terra Incognita, it's called, and you can't actually explore it unless you have a conquistador or an explorer. And so that's pretty crucial to know. You really need to know that. So yeah, so you have to get exploration ideas. You get the first idea group at Tech 5, and normally I don't actually even go exploration first if I'm normally going with a colonial nation. Sometimes I'll go with another one and take exploration second because of something I'll talk about in a second with Colonial Range. But yeah, you have to take exploration ideas, and these are a diplomatic idea group. And basically, once you get the Quest for the New World, which is the second idea, it allows you to recruit explorers and conquistadors. And you can do that here from the military screen. You're going to recruit a conquistador, a conquistador and explorer. Explorers, they explore the ocean. You have to have either 3 light ships or heavy ships in a fleet, and they will be able to explore, and they do missions. Oh, excuse me. I think the missions actually might only be if you have El Dorado, but either way, it's fairly self-explanatory. The conquistadors you actually put on land, and then you use them to explore land Terra Incognita. And so that's pretty simple, but the main thing is that you just have to have the exploration ideas to do that. The other important things that you need to colonize are the range. You have to have the range to do it. So if we go to the stability and expansion screen, we can see our colonial range. Our range at this point is at 1,387 because our base is 925 from technology, and also one of the ideas, the idea from exploration right here, this one actually gives you more. And range is actually pretty good. I don't actually know really a good way to measure it on the map, but you can actually go to a, where is it? There is a Colonial Range map mode, I believe. I know there is. Did I pass it already? I think it might be here. I think it might be... No, that's not it. I know in some map mode there's a way to actually see what you can actually colonize, what your effective range is. However, at this point in this game, I can colonize everything really. So I have colonies everywhere else. But basically, when you start off the game as Spain or Portugal, this colony right here is actually when you can reach. Right now, Tunis actually colonized it. Funny enough. But this one right here and some of these islands and down here in Africa is fairly close by, and you might be able to reach it. However, lots of the time you won't be able to colonize, especially if you're playing as anyone else besides them. You won't be able to colonize most likely until you hit Tech 7 Diplo, which gives you a good chunk more range. And that's why I said that it's not necessarily the worst idea to go for a different idea before you go for exploration, because you'll probably be done by this by the time you are even able to colonize, even if you take it at Tech 7. So that's one thing to think about. So yeah, you have to have the Colonial Range, and when you go to, I should probably show this earlier, when you go to a screen for a colony, let's go like over here somewhere. This seems good. Rabal. When you go to any province that's not colonized, you click on it, it'll bring up this screen. And essentially, there's some stuff to glean from this screen. This is the base tax, base production, base manpower. Pretty simple, just like a normal province. So this one is very crappy, obviously. It's the minimum development you can have. It is tropical, which means that we have more development cost, less settler increase, which is bad, less supply limit. Whew, excuse me. So tropical ones are a little harder to settle. There's also some other good stuff. You can look at the religion. Oh no, this is not the religion. This is the trade good, and this is interesting. This shows you the possible trade goods. Each trade good has a set cost with it, which will affect how much money you get from production. You know, and certain provinces might have even like gold and stuff. Like for instance, let's look like down here. This one has gold as a possibility, as does that one. So obviously, and also these have a lot more development. So obviously, not all colonial provinces are created equal. It also shows you the religion. You can also see that from the religious map mode and stuff. But either way, that's pretty handy dandy. And when you hover over this, it'll tell you why you can't colonize it if it's grayed out, or it'll not be grayed out, and that means you can colonize it. So we can't because we are full in colonists. In fact, I believe, I'm not really going to play this game right now, but we are going to unpause. Don't worry about this. We're going to unpause just for the fact because France announced me as a rival. Cool. I don't really care. But mainly for the reason that I kind of want to show you guys me starting a colony. In fact, actually, why don't we, let's see. Oh, God. Was not ready for all that. So this colony that I was doing was right here up in like Arkansas, or no, Tennessee, Kentucky. This is like Kentucky. So yeah, so like here's the colony screen of when you already have colonized one. You can see the good here. This is after it's already established. Once it's 400 in it, tells you what you actually got for the trade good there. It'll show you the religion. The religion should, if the game works properly, change to your religion as you colonize it. It'll also show you your growth per year. And ours is insane right now. Wow, I didn't even realize that we actually had, I didn't even know it was possible to get growth that high. That's insane. But basically, this shows you how much your average growth is going to be per year. And this is basically static. This is going to say it's going to grow by this much per year no matter what else happens. Then, you actually have a colonist, and this is what these colonists are here for. The colonist is active here. He's sitting here. You can actually recall him. And the colony will continue to grow, but only by this amount. However, right now, with the colonist active, we have a 36% chance each month. At the end of every month, we have a 36% chance that he'll bring in like 40 more in addition to our normal amount, and that's really good. And that's why the colonists are really good. Another thing to note is when you do colonize, I have 3 colonists, for example. I have 2 colonists on the way, but you can only have 3 colonists at the base price. You can have more than that because you could recall, send to a new province, and have more. And that's a good thing to do if you have a lot of money and you want to colonize more. But it will cost you. You kind of have like an unspoken force limit for colonies. We have like 3 colonies kind of as a force limit to be growing at one time. They cost 2 ducats each month, right? Roughly 2, a little more. So we only have 1 currently going. We have 2 on the way. So it would be around like 6.3-ish. So roughly 2 ducats per colony per month. So that's something good to keep in mind. However, if you go over that, it'll be like 4 for the next one, 6 for the next one. It increases, I think, exponentially. So just watch out if you are going to do that strategy. It is a decent strategy. So let's let's watch this colony. So another thing to keep in mind, I haven't even mentioned yet, is that with colonies in the New World, you actually can only colonize to a certain point, and then you'll have these colonial nations form. And it's really interesting because colonial nations are semi-autonomous, but they are also kind of different than a vassal. They are a colonial subject, and basically they have, let's go look at Liberty Desire. Let's see. they don't have any special modifiers, except they actually do have tariffs, and tariffs actually will bring you in money as well as the normal taxes and stuff. Um, and that's how you get the majority of your money for this. However, tariffs also add to liberty, desire, and stuff. But to sum it up, I'm not going to go too in detail with Colonial Nations. I might say that for a different guide at another time or something. But essentially, they will the colonies they transfer you trade power. They do not count as a relationship slot. They will always join wars on your side. It's fairly simple, and there's also interactions you can do with them. I'm not too sure about all of them, but you can increase tariffs, you can replace governors, make them declare war on natives and stuff. But after the reason these form, or the way these form rather, is after you get 5 colonies completed in any region. They have to be completed, not formed. But if you get 5 colonies completed in a colonial region, which you can see in the colonial region map mode, you get 5 colonies completed in a map in one of these regions. There's not actually that many, but there's like 17 total or something. Then it'll form a colonial nation. One of the really good benefits about these is that they can actually colonize themselves. So let's unpause, and what you'll see. So this is like right now in my border colors. Once it finishes, which will probably be next month, then it'll be integrated automatically into there. I'm gonna put it up here so you see it change at the end of the month. Okay, 999, lovely. I don't really care about that. So anyway, so you can see the 13 colonies leads right up to British Louisiana. This is a British colony, but they are split right here because of the colonial regions, the change there. And there we go. So it changed, and now you'll see in like a day, it'll become part of their country. And boom, there it goes. So that's pretty simple. It'll add on the colonies after that point. They normally are pretty good. I rarely have them actually break free, especially if you're expanding like most players do in Europe. To keep up with it, they'll be too afraid to really declare war on you, and if they do, you can crush them. Either way, that's the majority of the basics. The other thing to realize about your colony growth is what affects your oh darn it, I don't have a colony in progress now. Where was I colonizing? One second. In California for some reason. I don't remember why. Real quick, let's wait till one of these colonies finishes, just so that I can show you guys what I want to show you. What affects the settler growth increase, the amount there. We have one there, and oh, the Ottomans have corrupted our officials. Oh no, we can't. Darn. Okay, well then I guess. Let's see. You know what? It doesn't really matter. Colonial Alaska, sure. I'm not even gonna worry about it. We have what we need. Let's look at this. So what affects this settler growth? So technology is one, and that just happens over time. That's diplo technology, and it also affects the range, which is why it is important to kind of stay up to date on diplo tech when you're doing a colonial game. And you see there's a whole bunch of other things there, and lots of them come from different things. I'm not going to go too in depth on all of them, but essentially some of them are from these ideas right here. It always has this little icon. You get 20 from that, you get 10 more from this. I believe I actually have a policy. Colonial expansion is one that is you have to have expansion and exploration policies complete. Expansion, by the way, is another really good colonial one. It is an administrative group, and you have both of those done, and then you can add this colonial expansion one as a policy. It's normally pretty good, I would say, because normally after you're done with the exploration ideas, you might have too many diplo points. There's also what was I gonna say? There's also a thing from the burghers you can do to grant newer charters. Why don't you just let's just do that now for here. Basically, it costs gives them 15 influence, and then you get plus 10% plus 10 settler increase. And basically, with this, it's a lot about building up the small bonuses. And as you can see, we have a lot of small bonuses, but they all add up to something pretty big. Another thing to keep in mind is on the stability and expansion screen, you actually have a native policy you have to set. So you can do the native repression policy, excuse me. You get plus 20 global settler increase. That's like 20 more settlers each year in all your colonies for doing this. But there's also a higher chance that natives will attack and destroy your colony completely if you don't have troops stationed there. So it costs a lot of micro if you want to do that. You have to micro, put troops in all your colonies right when they're formed. This one is 50% native uprising chance, but you also get native assimilation. You get population from that. This one, again, you still have to micro just half as much, but not really, because you never know when they're going to fire. 50% is still a chance, so you kind of still have to do all the micro. So it's not very good either, in my opinion. In my opinion, I always go with this one, which just no benefit, but you never have to worry about the uprisings. I always do that one because then I don't have to ever worry about micro. I think just from a realistic standpoint, it benefits me a lot more than any of the other ones do. So yeah, that's pretty much it actually for the majority of colonization. But I'll just talk about colonization in terms of like trade. Colonization is a let me check the recording. It's still working. Colonization is a very, very important part of doing global trade networks, and it's really cool because, like, for instance, look at this. In the Genoa node, we have 100 ducats there. There is 100 ducats in the Genoa node because that's my home node and because I have that much sway. And we are getting 97% of it. And because of our efficiency and stuff, we're actually collecting 216 gold every month. And that's kind of insane. So, how is this actually working? Well, as you see, Genoa node, we'll flip back to this map mode and stuff. It might get a little laggy, I'm sorry about that. We own all the stuff here, we own all the trades, so then we obviously collect all of it. Sevilla, we obviously own all of that, so we push all of that there. Then, this is where colonization becomes important. Look at this, the Ivory Coast has a lot of value, 8.5, and 35 is already being sent to Sevilla. And because we have so much control here, we're sending it all that way. We could be sending even more, which is crazy. Then you come down here to the Cape of Good Hope. Look at that. We're sending 30 from here because we have 90% there. Zanzibar, we have 84%, sending 27. We're sending from here, where we're stealing it from under the Ottomans, because the Ottomans are butting up right here. But we're stealing a ton of money and sending it down towards the rest of it, which you already saw. We're taking it from India. We're not going from Bengal yet, because we're actually going from the Moluccas straight to Zanzibar. And so we just have this web of stuff. Not to mention over in the Caribbean, look at this. Over in the Caribbean, a good chunk of this is going to the Seville as well. A good chunk of this is coming from, Mexico and stuff. But we just have such a huge, wide, global spanning network of trade that gives us so much money a month. We're making 121 ducats every month as Navarra right now, which is insane. It just allows you to, you could merc up, you could destroy France with mercs at this point, and that's how strong it is. And I love games like this where you do a strong trade and colonial game. So obviously, it's a big part of it is kind of targeting out the provinces that are really good, like Cape. This one starts uncolonized. It is like, I think we got some development, but it's like 14 development to start. You can change the culture to your own later on, and you just earn so much money. Plus, it's a important natural harbor. It gives you so much good stuff there. It's really good. Not to mention all the stuff in the Ivory Coast. It adds up. There's not actually a lot of very good ones by themselves, but the Gold Coast is good. This one you have to conquer, but you can do that fairly easily once you have a base here, and just colonizing in good spots, and without even owning hardly any inland anywhere in these other continents, we're getting a ton of money just because we have all the harbors and the ports. That's a really big part of having a trade empire. So anyways, beyond that, with the goods and just remember that remember all the parts of this screen. We have the goods possible here. We have the religion here, the values for how good the province is here. Tropical, and I believe a couple other types like arid, as we saw earlier, can decrease your settler increase. You can also see the amount of natives here, but if you have the uprising suppression policy or whatever, then you're not going to worry about that anyways. Yeah, Mingplosion going on, I guess, in this game. Quite the thing over there. Anyways, it's really fun. It's really satisfying if you're able to do this colonization game easily. Just make sure that your colonies don't break free, your colonial nations. If you have Eldorado, there's a lot of cool things over there. Either way, I think that's it. But like I said, it's really satisfying to get these massive trade empires. If we zoom out, you can see. Look at us. Look at us. We own a lot. We own a good chunk of Europe, but beyond that, look at all of this New World land that we own. We're allied to Ming, actually. I forgot. Either way, it's so cool if you can do that, and it's really cool because it allows you to build tall, which is something that EU4 doesn't really model very well in most regards. But for instance, as the Netherlands, right now they're pretty weak and they're probably gonna die soon. But as the Netherlands, it's really fun to go tall because you're just a tiny little country wedged in here between Germany, the HRE, France, and Britain, and Sweden normally. But it's really hard to like actually grow wide, so you can grow tall and be a trade empire and still earn buttloads of ducats, buckets of ducats. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this guide did help you. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I love seeing feedback. If you enjoyed these guides, if you want to see more in the future, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe for more, and tell me that you want more, and I will definitely comply. That's a weird word to use there, but thank you guys for watching. And again, I hope this helped. And until I see you in the next video, goodbye.